Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us on our travel agent virtual tour. We're so excited to have you here. We've got some amazing people that we're going to talk to tonight, and all of us are very busy humans in our lives. Some of us are parents, some of us are working full time, some of us are working part time, and some of us do this as our only source of income. And so we have people coming from all walks of life, and we're going to learn about some of them today. So the first wonderful participant in our panel today is Charmel Thomas. She comes to us from Kentucky, and within this business, she is what's referred to as a silver builder, which is a promotion level in our business. So Charmel, I wanted to ask you, what was your reason for starting this business?
I started this business simply because I love to travel. When I first saw the presentation, I'll be honest with you, I was like, oh, this sounds great. And I was like, but I'm not going to do it because I have so much going on. I already had a full-time job. I had another side business at the time. I was like, I said I wasn't going to do anything else, so I'm not going to do anything else. And then I went to sleep. And I
Famous
woke up
last
and
words.
I was like, wait a minute, I love to travel. What am I thinking about? So kind of went back and asked a couple of questions and I was like, yeah, let's do this.
That's good. And when was it that you joined the business?
I kind of laughed because it was our first COVID summer. So I was a little bit clueless. I was like, oh, it's summer. People aren't sick in the summer. This is going to end. Had no idea how much longer we were going. But I do say that it's pretty cool that that is when I started because I know that if I could start the business then, I can definitely keep it going now that we're on the other side of that, so to speak.
Whoa, absolutely. That was a tough time in business, and it's great that we're still here. And we knew at that time that travel was going to be here to stay. We just kind of had to ride it out. And now people are traveling more than ever, if in my experience.
Yeah.
So I know that you work full time, right? Another job.
Well, I don't.
This is
So
where I wanted to get with this. Yes,
yeah, I when
did.
just as of this fall, my plan A of working full time, it did fall through. Things happen. I think you might be hearing about a lot of companies going through layoffs, and I have to say this is the first time I've been on this side of that experience. But I have to say it was just good timing for me to say, you know what? You've got something else that you can work on. And so I'm happy to take this time to work and build up my business. So I'm excited about it. And everybody don't be sad for me because I'm not. But it's just a really good opportunity. It's kind of hard to explain that, but I'm really excited about it.
So initially, this was kind of going to be a side gig, a plan B, because you love to travel, and now you have created pretty much a full time business for yourself, right?
Exactly.
Cool. That's great. It's good that you had that built up for when that opportunity to get laid off came.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. That's great.
Thank
Is
you.
it is there any fun fact or any cool booking or any amazing teammate that you have that you want to share with us within your organization?
I'd say yes to all of the above. um, cool fact, I think it may not sound cool if you're not looking at it, but to me, once I got on this side of it, I think I thought I knew everything about, how to book travel and what to do. But coming in and seeing how many more resources are available to us as agents, I I just never could have imagined that. So to me, that's a cool fact. And then coolest thing, I got a Disney booking. And that's kind of always a fun thing, you want to make something magical for somebody. So I've done a lot of other bookings, but I've got my first Disney one and that was exciting. And then as far as team members, it's great to see when your team members are doing things. And so I've got some great ones on the team asking good questions, building their own business. But I remember one of them very recently went on the Royal Caribbean cruise out of Galveston, Texas. Um, I don't know how she did it, but she was like, it was a trade cruise for me. And the only thing I had to pay for was my plane ticket to Galveston. Everything else was covered. And I was like,
Ooh,
what about this? How did she do that? So people are out here, you know, getting their business done. And I love it. She had a great time.
that's good. I hear people about all these different, VIP traveling experiences while
Yeah,
being a travel agent. I'm like, I need to look into that a little bit closer. So thanks for pointing that one
exactly.
out. Well, we're certainly glad that your plan B has become your plan A because we like having you on the team with us. And it's just a great opportunity to share with people. So thank you for sharing your story with us today. Now, the next person we're going to head off to is Mr. David Jurgens. He and his wife do this business together. They both kind of have different roles within this business. And maybe David, you could tell us a little bit about that, but also when did you start this business? And now that you're a bronze builder, maybe what have you learned from the business?
Sure. So my wife actually started, I believe it was in July of 2018, and then the following February is when I joined, because I was helping her out a little bit, helping her do some of the research, and saw how interesting and fun it was to like discover new places for people to go, interesting things for them to do while they were there, and I figured, hey, if I'm helping her with it, I might as well join the business. And one of the other things that we learned about that, some of the vendors and hotel brands, they will give travel agent rates if you have travel agent credentials. Now, a lot of them will only give one room at that rate. So we have 4 kids, and sometimes they bring friends along when we travel. So we need more than one room. And in order to get more than one room at a travel agent rate, we both have travel agent credentials. So that's been a big bonus.
So you guys are the popular family in the neighborhood. Hey, you go with them, we'll travel
Yeah,
with them.
yeah, definitely.
That's good.
Definitely.
So you guys were with us through the pandemic as well,
Yeah,
and I'm sure you've seen a massive boom in your business since then.
absolutely. It's, we had a lot of challenges during the pandemic, but since then it seems like everyone has kind of turned the corner and said, look, I don't want to wait anymore. I don't want to wait till I retire or till my kids grow up. Let's get out there now and let's travel.
I
So
agree.
that's what we're noticing.
Yeah, I think people realize that it could be taken away from us, and we never really thought about that in the past. And then it was taken away, and they're like, "I'm going to do this revenge travel thing." It's been massive. So, hey, yeah, sure, Mel has participated in that. Have you found anything? I know you're very active on TikTok, and you give amazing travel pointers and fun facts on TikTok. Maybe can you tell us one fun fact or one interesting thing that you have learned about your business that you maybe didn't know in the past?
Um, just it, I didn't know this, and my wife didn't know it at the time. The fact that commissions are built into everything that we do with travel. I mean, that's one of the reasons that we joined the business. Um, we started our travel business because of that. When we travel, especially taking kids, it gets kind of expensive, and when you can come home to a paycheck, that helps out a lot. Um, One of the other things that we learned about the business is it's given us some personal freedom and time freedom, and that was really important to us. I have an example of that. Just a couple of weeks ago, we were up early getting the kids ready for school, and our 10-year-old got into his backpack and pulled out a letter and said, "Hey, Mom, here, I forgot this." And it was a letter actually inviting us to their school to watch his spelling bee. It's the finals of the spelling bee that he had qualified for. And it was at 9 o'clock that morning. So, people who have a 9 to 5 job, it's really hard for them to call their boss and say, "Hey, I'll be in a couple hours. I just found out about this thing with my kid." So, it was great. She was able to go, and he came in second in his class, and she got to
Cool.
share that with him. So, that was pretty important.
Yeah, that's very special to have that time freedom. I mean, that's just so important. Time we cannot get back. Most everything else in life we can get back, but time is not one of those things. Now, do you or your wife work other than doing this business?
Yep. I work a full-time job, and I actually work a part-time job a couple nights a week because they have some amazing healthcare benefits.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so
And one of the things that I do is, um, as you had said, with TikTok and doing some attraction marketing, trying to get people interested in what we do as a business, and working as a team, I'm able to then, kind of push them over to my wife for her to either do the travel booking or to bring them on and help train them.
that's awesome. Yeah, it's great to have somebody to feed ideas off of and work
Yeah.
different parts of the business. So I'm glad that you guys can do that. And again, like with Charmel, I'm just glad that we're all in this business together because it is a team effort. and we
Yep.
are here to help and support each other as we go along. So I really appreciate your sharing your story with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, next we have another amazing woman within the business, Miss Amy Bowes, pardon me. She is a director within Planet Marketing, and she's also an ambassador with IntelliTravel, which means she has earned the highest status, put a crown on her head, of what you can get within the certifications of IntelliTravel. And that's a huge deal. So Amy, and you're coming from Ohio, and I forgot to mention that David was from Kentucky. Amy, when did you start this business with us?
I'm actually have been a part of the company since 2016. So my anniversary is actually in 2 days. So it'll be my 6th year anniversary with the company. So yeah, yep.
Nice. And what was the reason why you started this in the first place? We heard Charmel loved to travel. She wanted to bank on that. What about you?
A little bit of that, but I'll be honest, when I started this business, I was also in another business with 2 of our leaders that came here to the travel. So I followed Cindy Bergman and Jennifer Smith. So we had been in business together before. I had known Jennifer for, oh my gosh, probably 15, 20 years at the time. And so when they found something new and it was travel, it was exciting, it was something I was passionate about, I followed the leadership because I knew that whatever they were going to do was going to be amazing. And I wanted to be a part of that.
That was a great opportunity. Good to know those folks, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Within this business, do you feel that it's important or necessary for someone to have a niche for what they do in this business?
I wouldn't say it's necessary. I think it makes it a lot more fun. When I started this business, I was so busy. I have 4 kids also, so kudos to you, David. I have 4 kids, and my second oldest, it was her senior year of high school. So I had one that had graduated and was in the Navy. I had one that was a senior in high school, and then I had one in high school, and then another one in junior high or elementary. And so we were very busy, had a lot of things going on. So when I started this travel business, I had dedicated an hour a day. I said, whether it was training, whether it was putting social media content together, whatever it was, I had that 1 hour a day. So when I started, I was pretty general with the travel that I booked. If you called me for a hotel, a rental car, a flight, a cruise, I was happy to jump on anything that came my way. And then over time, you start to take the education that we're offered. You start to learn about those travel suppliers that Charmel mentioned. And you realize that once you start to specialize and you know more about a specific industry, you attract those clients. So I actually, a couple of years into my business, I became a river and ocean cruise specialist. I have cruised the rivers in Europe, and it's absolutely my favorite thing in the world to do. So as you find vendors and things that you like, you find destinations. I'm actually working on certification right now for Asia. So my daughter and I are going to be taking a trip over to Asia this coming year and visiting quite a few of the countries there. So that can be a specialty as well. So you do kind of learn what you enjoy and learn what your clients enjoy.
I have a feeling you'll be listening to some K-pop over there.
I do. That's how I got into.
I know. That's awesome. And it's great that you can have this love for a music, and it can lead you to the country where the music is produced, and you're going to earn a commission off your travel from going there. So that's pretty amazing. Now, maybe can you tell us a little bit about building your team within this business, what that's meant for you, maybe even specifically for the legacy advantage that you've acquired?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually started building my team before I started booking a lot of travel, just because when you're excited about something and you are sharing that excitement with other people, they get excited too. So a lot of people are like, wow, what are you doing? How did you do that? How are you in Europe? What are you doing? I know you don't travel like that, right? And so it was a lot of fun to spread the information about how to enjoy this business, how to make the extra income. I actually was working a full-time job. I had a daycare center. I had 19 kids in my home, plus my 4 in a daycare center. And my goal was to retire that daycare center after 5 years. So I wanted to grow my travel business a little bit every year, so I didn't have to replace the kids that were leaving. And I will be honest, I was able to retire in less than 18 months.
Wow.
So I was able to replace my entire full-time income. And a lot of that was on the team building aspect of it. Prior to COVID, I had over 250 people in my organization. So you do get residual income from that. So, you do the work once and then you wake up every month to a check. That has been fantastic. And quite frankly, the friends that I've made. And I'm going to lump you in with that, Kenzie. But some of the very best friends that I have are people that I've met through this industry. So yes, we work alone. I work from my home office, but I have never felt more connected than I have with this business.
I completely agree. I feel the same way. I live in a very small town. You can't see houses from my house, and I feel connected. Like my parents are always like, why don't you go out and like hang out with people? And I'm like, I'm with people all day. It just happens to be online. So that's like my socialization. And it has been pretty amazing. And I know you guys farm as well, right?
We do. My husband and I and our youngest son, we farm about 2,000 acres. So talk about being rural. You can make this business work and not have to live in a metropolis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I know that we all have different stories of success and reasons why we came. So thanks for sharing yours. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And I'm going to actually throw that back to you, Kenzie, because we have not gotten to learn a lot about you today. You've been asking the questions, but we'd be very interested in hearing how you came into the business and what it's meant for you and your daughter.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd be happy to share because I can talk about it all day long. For me, when I started this business, let's rewind about a year before I started the business. I had a corporate job. I had the corporate car, gas card, phone, salary, all of that. And I was like, I've arrived. This is awesome. I had winters off because it was a job working with plants. Anyway, I had my baby and they fired me a month later. They called me on Friday and said, we don't need you anymore. And so on Monday, I did not have a car. I did not have a phone. I did not have a salary. I did not have a gas card. And here I am. I had just had ankle surgery and I'm crutching around on my crutches with a 2-month-old and all that stuff was gone. Just like that. I did not expect it. There was no warning. It just happened. So I was living off my savings and my daughter was about just over a year old. And I was like, I got to start bringing some money in. I don't know that I was bored, but I wanted to bring some money in, but I didn't want to put her in daycare. That was very important to me to be with her for her first and that type of thing. So I was scrolling Facebook. We all do it, and I came across somebody posting that they were doing this from home. And I was like, wait, that's a thing? I thought travel agents were dead and gone, but that's a thing. Well, I reached out to the gal who had done the post and she sent me a quick video for me to watch and I got the information and I was like, this is it. This is what I'm doing. And I signed up and it's been about 6 years. In February will be my 6th year. And it was like la la, in the movies when you see the heavens open up and the magical happen. That's what it was for me, you guys. Now, I'll admit it took work. It's a business and it took work, but what this has provided for me is so much time freedom. Like David was mentioning, my daughter's 7 now. She's in school and they were having a field trip. My daughter wanted me to come on the field trip with them. Well, we got a huge heavy snow, so the field trip was canceled. And they said, we're going to reschedule for the 20th. And so my daughter's like, oh, can you please come? And I'm like, well, of course I can come. I create my own schedule. I'm my own boss. So it was never an issue, never a problem for me to be able to go participate in that with her. And I could have done it on any day they rescheduled for. That was the cool part about it. We can create our own time, our own schedule, and really we can control how much we earn because there's no quotas in what we do. We work how much we want and when we want. And so that's been a beautiful thing for me. And another thing for me, like I said, I could talk about this all day. After I was in the business for about 3 years, I guess it was, my husband and I split. And I know when a lot of women, they're kind of tied to the husband financially, but I had already established myself within the business. So when it came time for me to move, I literally picked up my phone and my laptop and I moved and my business went with me. And divorce is a very stressful situation, stressful time to move, all of those things. And so for me to not have to worry about finding a job when I got to my new home, it was like I couldn't put a value on that. And I could just continue and pick up my business where it was, even though I moved. But that for me was super important. So this business has really changed my life in more ways than I can really, put into words. And I'm so grateful that I saw that ad on Facebook. I mean, being on social media does pay, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I just know that I was living in a town of 500 people in Idaho, and I've become successful in this business. Like Amy, I'm a director within the company, which means we have over 100 people on our team. And I figure if I can do it with little to zero experience in this industry, really anybody can do this business if you're willing to put the work in, willing to apply yourself, and willing to make friends with people on the team who can help you along the way. So I do think that this business is suitable for everyone with even an ounce of ambition. So with that, you guys, I'm so happy that we could get together today and share some of our experiences within this business. Thank you for being willing to, put yourselves out here for us to learn more about you. We're going to just keep having a great time in this 3-day virtual tour. So if you have any questions to any of us directly, feel free to put it in the comments, or just in general about the business. We'd be happy to answer them for you. So you guys, thanks so much for being here. Thanks for your time and to your commitment to your business. It's great to see you guys flourish. So thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
Kenzie.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome. Have a great night, you guys.